So one of the worst parts of anti-Semitism is the blood libel, the really disgusting accusation that Jewish people use the blood of victims in religious rituals, and it's now developed into just Jews being bloodthirsty and violent. It spread like wildfire in the Middle Ages, but now it's making a real comeback thanks to Palestinian terrorists, Democrats, and the media. So I'm sure you've all seen reports coming in of a hospital in Gaza that was apparently destroyed by an Israeli airstrike.
The Palestinian Health Ministry says the Baptist Hospital in Gaza City, that's the northern half of Gaza, has taken a direct hit from an Israeli airstrike. They are saying at minimum, 300 people are dead. Now, we have not been able to verify that.
The only problem is that the only source for this was the Gaza Health Ministry, which is a propaganda wing for Hamas and lies about Israel just all the time. But that's enough for the media. Basically, every outlet out there was just running with this story. The same outlets who comb through every single Israeli report with a fine-tooth comb and make sure it's as politically correct as possible, like calling terrorists militants or gunmen or resistance fighters. They basically let Hamas write this story. Here's what the New York Times reported. Israeli strike kills hundreds in hospital, Palestinians say. CNN, hundreds killed in Israeli strike on Gaza hospital, Palestinian officials say. Wall Street Journal, Israeli airstrike on Gaza hospital kills more than 500 Palestinians, officials say. BBC, hundreds of people have been killed in an Israeli strike on a hospital in Gaza, according to Palestinian officials. Associated Press, Hamas says Israeli airstrike on Gaza hospital kills hundreds as Biden heads to Mideast. LA Times, at least 500 killed in Israeli airstrike on Gaza City hospital, Gaza Health Ministry says. Do you notice a theme here? And I'm not even going to bother telling you what Al Jazeera said, but I'm sure you can guess. But politicians were all over this too. Rashida Tlaib tweeted this. Israel just bombed the Baptist hospital, killing 500 Palestinians, doctors, children, patients, just like that. POTUS, this is what happens when you refuse to facilitate a ceasefire and help de-escalate. Your war and destruction-only approach has opened my eyes and many Palestinian Americans and Muslim Americans like me. We will remember where you stood. And Ilhan Omar tweeted this. Bombing a hospital is among the gravest of war crimes. The IDF reportedly blowing up one of the few places the injured and wounded can seek medical treatment and shelter during a war is horrific. POTUS needs to push for an immediate ceasefire to end this slaughter. There's just one little problem. None of this is true. And it's not true based on multiple sources, including Joe Biden, who looks like he's on his deathbed.
I was deeply saddened and outraged by the explosion at the hospital in Gaza yesterday. And based on what I've seen, it appears as though it was done by the other team, not you. But there's a lot of people out there not sure. So we've got to overcome a lot of things.
But here he is saying the same thing before the Adderall wore off.
I was outraged and saddened by the enormous loss of life yesterday in the hospital in Gaza. Based on the information we've seen to date, it appears the result of an errant rocket fired by a terrorist group in Gaza.
And as news came out, including forensic analysis, video evidence, and images from the ground, including the fact that it looks like the blast was in the parking lot, not the hospital, media outlets just got the eraser out. The New York Times went from Israeli strike kills hundreds in hospital, Palestinians say, to at least 500 dead in strike on Gaza hospital, Palestinians say, to at least 500 dead in blast at Gaza hospital, Palestinians say. This isn't even the first time this has happened in 1 week. The media rushed to blame Israel for bombing a convoy of escaping Palestinians, and why? Because the Palestinian groups told them so. But after 5 minutes of investigation, it looked like it was a Palestinian IED. And the story just went away. Just like this story will go away. Our mainstream media went to the people who murdered innocents at a concert, decapitated babies, raped women in the street, burned families alive, kidnapped children, and tortured captives, and went, yeah, you seem like a good source. It's like reporting on World War II by just retweeting Goebbels, which is basically what the New York Times did at the time. Because this isn't a bug, it's a feature. The danger of a blood libel targeting Jews is that it's then used to justify violence against Jews. These headlines are already out there. These tweets from pro-Hamas Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib are already out there. And they're still out there, by the way.
Continue to watch people think it's okay to bomb a hospital.
Because the goal isn't the truth. The goal is to fuel anti-Semitism, fuel violence, and fuel hate. They know what they're doing. It's up to us to stop listening to them.